1990s. But the view in many in the criminal justice field has shifted toward rehabilitation instead of incarceration. U.S. officials say the Pentagon is finalizing plans that would send hundreds of additional active duty troops to the United States-Mexico border for several more months to support the Department of Homeland Security and install another 160 miles of concertina wire in Arizona and California. Details are being worked out, but the plan would extend the military's border mission through the end of September. The mission is separate from President Donald Trump's campaign to build a border wall, but is designed to bolster security. Officials Friday told the Associated Press the installation of the wire barrier is not expected to take that long, so troops doing that would be finished long before September. There currently are 2,350 active duty troops assigned to the border mission, which was slated to end January 31st. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? It's simple. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details on how to raise your profile in partnership with the Liberty Beat. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat can be found online at snls.news. I'm Mick Moreau reporting with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you to spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after Seattle area consulting firm Brink and Tiller received a resume from Corey Wilhelm, a college graduate with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in communications, Human Resources Director Robert Bradshaw immediately fast-tracked Wilhelm's application and spoke with The Onion about this exceptional candidate.
Well, the second I saw Corey's resume, I knew I had to send it straight up to our CEO. I mean, we're talking about an applicant who not only got into the University of Washington School of Communication, but also managed to graduate in 4 years with a Bachelor of Arts. This kid's only 22, but according to his resume, he already has experience in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. We're really going to have to move fast to get this guy.
Bradshaw went on to say that company heads could barely believe the candidate had 2 years of experience working at his college newspaper and had even taken a full 4 years of high school Spanish. Since receiving the application, Bradshaw claims the company has made numerous attempts to reach Wilhelm.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here on this live Sunday night edition. And when I say live, I always have to give you the caveat. That's if you're listening between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Any day of the year. It doesn't make a difference. Whatever it is that you want to talk about, you are welcome to call in and talk about
Boxing Day?
Boxing Day, you can talk about it.
Groundhog Day? No, I'm asking the days of the year. Boxing Day.
Yep. You can. We'll
Groundhog Day.
We'll be here.
Martin Luther King Day.
Yep. All of them.
President's Day.
Yep. Whatever the day is. Christmas, Thanksgiving, I don't care. We're here. Rosh Hashanah, gotcha. We're here. Somebody's here. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And the number, if you want to call in, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. We also have the availability for you to call in from the Discord line at discord.freetalklive.com. To do that, it takes a little more planning. However, you will sound significantly better, and it's much faster after that. So you have to go to discord.freetalklive.com. You download the app. It's on your phone, but believe me, you sound so much better. The microphone in your phone is capable of delivering great audio. It's just not, because the phone lines that phone stuff travels, it's a much smaller tube. It's the tubes. It's a much smaller tube. It's a little bitty. It's like a swizzle stick versus a big, giant McDonald's straw.
It's actually not a series of tubes and straws.
Oh, that's good enough. It is good enough. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. The news to start off with, apparently a California legislator has been arrested for spanking his 7-year-old daughter.
This is just absolutely crazy.
Now, Yeah, let me read the story to you, and you go from there. A Democratic assemblyman in California was arrested Monday on suspicion of child cruelty after allegedly spanking his daughter.
Question, where's the story coming from?
Yahoo Lifestyle, yahoo.com.
All right.
On Wednesday, he claimed that he had only done so as a means of punishment. In an interview with the Fresno Bee, lawmaker Joaquin Armabula spoke about an incident at home Sunday night that led him to spank his 7-year-old. This isn't super fresh news because Ian does not like to go into the mud with me on this particular issue, and that's why I'm bringing it here on the Sunday show. The following day, she went to school. She allegedly told her teacher what happened and expressed how she was upset about it. She's mad at getting spanked, sparking an investigation by CPS. Now, no one said there was a bruise. No one said, like, I got spanked last night and I'm mad. All right. This is quoting the accused here. I disciplined her as a consequence to something she did. This is something that is really rare for us. It's a tool of last resort, but it is something that we do. And I spanked her bottom, he explained. She was pretty upset, and she struggled to be able to share her emotions. I'm sure you can appreciate a 7-year-old will, as I'm sure you can appreciate a 7-year-old will. But that's all that happened. Still, Armambula was arrested on Monday night and accused of willful cruelty to a child. As of Wednesday, CPS and the Department of Social Services declared Armambula and his wife Elizabeth fit to bring their 3 children aged 3, 6, and 7 who had been staying with Armambula's parents back home. Okay, good. So at this point, all we need to do is arrest the guy. We don't actually have to take his children away from him.
All right, so I've got a lot of questions.
Okay, I'll do my best. I mean, I read the article, not too recent
I realize that you have read the article.
Yep.
I have an article here from CBS News that has
the worst reporting organization in America.
I don't know if I would call it the worst.
They don't even have human beings write their stories.
That would be quite a title. I mean, there's a lot of bad news stories, news outlets.
There's a lot of news outlets.
Okay, you're using air quotes on the word news.
Fast and loose with facts that people cite as this is legitimate journalism.
So is this other story, is it basically the same story from a different outlet?
They've got different quotes from the parents. They've got a quote here from Fresno Police Chief Jerry Dyer, who says the injury was not on the buttocks. And they mentioned that a school administrator saw the injuries, which your article doesn't mention anybody at the school having seen the injury.
All right.
So what were the circumstances? And this article doesn't mention the circumstances under which a school administrator wound up, doing some type of examination of this girl.
One thing I could say is that it's likely if a child was being spanked that they would get a bruise on their arm, right? Like, so they're being held. And if they don't want to get spanked, they would pull away, and then the grip would tighten, and that's possible. So if that's what we're talking about here, if every bruise is going to be looked at, but you have questions, we don't have answers, I guess.
Right. So, like I said, I have questions, and none of these articles mention.
Well, my general
feeling... Where
feeling...
was the bruise? What kind of bruise?
My general feeling about interfering in the parent-child relationship to take children away. I understand that's not what happened in this one.
Well, it did briefly.
To take children away, I think that should only be done when, as a last resort by the government, because our foster care system is so problematic and a lot of children are abused in foster care. We really don't have a good place to send the children when we take them away from the parents. So that should only be done in the most extreme circumstances.
Agreed.
When the child, and I know that these come up, when the child's life is truly in danger or they're being severely abused, and what you're describing right there does not qualify. I should also say with my own children, I spanked, not very often. I had to do it a lot more with my daughter. But when my little girl was about 2 years old, she went to put her finger in the electric socket.
Yeah.
And so, of course,
that's not good.
Of course, I grabbed her hand and I hit her hand. I slapped her hand pretty hard, and she cried.
Yep.
But she got the point. And so the next time I said no really loud, the next time she saw an electrical outlet, she pointed to it and she looked at me and she said, no.
Right. That's exactly right.
So she learned it is a tool that parents should be allowed to use at their discretion.
Yeah, my son in the wood stove, now he never... there wasn't an incident where he touched the wood stove or anything like that, but I took him close to it. I let him feel the heat. And now my wood stove is an outdoor wood boiler. It would produce a lot more heat out the door than what you would see from a regular wood stove. And I'm like, hot, 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 hot. And, that boy would stand near that door, just point at the fire and go, hot, hot, for months after that. So, it was meaningful to him, and it was something that was that he learned from. I was concerned that he was going to touch this thing. If you touch it in the wrong place, it's going to burn you. And I didn't want him to, do the wrong thing at the wrong time. So those are concerns that parents have. Let's go to John calling in from Georgia. John, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind, John?
Hey, who gives a fuck? Actually, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, no, you can't say those things on the radio. We are on broadcast radio, meaning that, like they're actually FCC licensed stations. Certain words you can't say.
Okay. So I got the thank you for covering me that I got to push the dump buttons while, John's words do not go out.
Yes. Yeah. And then I've got it. If we, want to get back to this, the girl in this case was 7 years old. Right?
Yeah, 7.
All right. Little kids, and I'm going to say that a 7-year-old, still kind of a little kid.
Yeah.
They go out, play, fall down, get bumps and bruises. So, was the injury something that was caused by the parent, or was it something? And, none of these articles specify.
Barbara Greenberg, lifestyle, let's say psychologist, family psychologist, says anything that hurts a child physically and emotionally, in my opinion, is abuse and should be reported.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's absolute insanity.
So, like, little kid trips and falls on the sidewalk, you report the sidewalk?
That's what Barbara Greenberger thinks, or she has misstated what she said. This is the sort of, just absolute insanity that's going on.
Or she believes what she said, but didn't think about, report the sidewalk.
Right. If anybody who makes a child feel bad, make them feel bad. It needs to be reported. This lady's nuts. Crazy commie wants everybody to live in a commune run by the government. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to anypay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at anypay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at anypay.global. That's anypay.global.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.fm in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.fm. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It is the live Sunday night edition. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And Darryl, we've recently teamed up with Smart Cash. What can you tell me about them?
Yeah, so they're a cryptocurrency like many others, but there are things that set them apart. One of the things that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. If you have one smart, you get one vote, whereas some of the others you have to have, say, 10,000 or more stored away, and then those 10,000 count as one vote. With Smart Cash, if you have 10,000 smart, that's 10,000 votes. There's also Smart Rewards, which is a price stabilization mechanism and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn Smart Rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, meaning don't keep your Smart Cash in an exchange because you don't hold the keys there. You also need to have at least 1,000 Smart in that wallet for at least 1 month and no outgoing transactions during that time. Smart Rewards are distributed after every 47,500 blocks, which is roughly 1 month, and they're distributed to all eligible addresses. You can learn more about those features and everything else that they're working on over at smartcash.cc.
Yeah, it's a great feature that Smart Rewards especially makes holding the smart make a lot of sense.
Yes.
Let's go to the phones.
Would you say it makes it smart?
It would make that, yeah. Go to Matthew, calling in from New Orleans. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, so I was listening yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to call in about the government shutdown and the federal employees who are not getting paid, and some of them are being required to work. And I feel bad for them. Missing paychecks kind of blows.
Yep.
But I don't recall the same amount of media love and pity on the oil industry workers who were affected by Obama's shutdown of the entire Gulf drilling operations.
Well, they're bad
the
people.
Macondo.
That's the difference, right? That's what you don't understand is that anybody who's involved in the carbon-based economy is a bad person, and therefore, but people working for the government are all working for the public good, and the fact that they get paid significantly and notably more than their private sector counterparts should be immediately dismissed because they're sacrificing their servants.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad you enlightened me about that. But then, since humans are also full of carbon, aren't people who serve people in the government working in the carbon-based economy?
That's coming next.
Oh, you fill me full of cheer and joy.
Thanks for the call, Matthew.
Ciao.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. After this, Soylent Green.
Like your hair.
Yeah, like my hair, yes. For those that do not know, hope.freetalklive.com, we reached our goal to buy, to get $35,000 to buy some land in Jinji, Uganda, so that some orphans don't have to beg anymore, and now they can grow food. And hopefully that works out really great. I'm still working on buying the land, but we raised the money, and I said I suggested that I would dye my hair. There was, some the hallmarks weren't reached exactly right, but no matter. I just wanted people to feel like they got their money's worth. So my hair is bright green.
You just wanted green hair. Admit it.
That's what everybody wants me to admit. The number is 85, or you can go to cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com and take a look there. I think you can go to twitch.lrn.fm and see us too if you wanted to. And but what happens when you watch at Twitch, you turn into a juvenile idiot very quickly, and then you call and want to say the F-bomb on the radio. So, let's go to the calls here. Got Scott calling in from Michigan. Scott, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
All's well.
Hey, I was just I was wondering what you guys are. I'm trying to learn more. I don't really know anything.
Oh, wait a second, Scott.
Article 13.
Yeah, let me tell you. If you want to learn some things, I want to tell you about a dump button. You know what a dump button is?
No.
Okay, a dump button is for a radio program. If you're live, it allows you to go 7 seconds back in time. So if something occurs on the radio that's untoward, I just dump it, and then it goes away forever. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
Okay, just want to let you know.
So what's this Article 13 thing
Article 13
that you're asking about?
Well, that's what I'm asking you guys about. I really don't know anything. It's apparently in the UK, they're trying to ban memes through a piece of legislation called Article 13.
Oh, I've heard about this, and it's some kind of intellectual property something, and the clickbait version is because memes are made of copyrighted material that the British government is trying to throw people in jail for sharing memes. But there have been politicians saying that, no, that's not the intent, and we don't plan on anybody going into court or being incarcerated for sharing memes.
Then what's Article 13 about? Is it just to protect copyrighted material?
That's what they're saying. The full intent is to just wind up protecting copyrighted material. But again, you know how clickbait works, to where somebody's like, oh, copyright and intellectual property, and this meme has SpongeBob, and SpongeBob's copyrighted, so therefore I'm going to prison if I share a SpongeBob meme. Ha ha ha.
But don't we already have copyright laws? Why do we need more?
Oh, they're just not good enough.
Yeah, we always need more laws. If things are extra illegal, nobody will do them.
Because Mickey Mouse is once again coming up for whatever it is, commons, into the commons.
Yeah.
And you can believe in the near future you will see an extending of copyright protection for fictitious characters.
Right. But again, this Article 13, something being proposed, I don't know if it passed in the UK. I don't know. I don't remember if it was the UK or the EU.
Looks like EU.
We should always be suspicious of a new bill or a new law that purports to do something that is already being done. Because the question should be, well, if that's all it does, why do we need it? We already have that. Obviously, it does more than that. So what would that more be?
Yeah, just wind up adding increased penalties.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think a meme is pretty clearly fair use.
Yeah.
And so if they want to get rid of fair use, then we've got a real problem.
Yeah.
The people who are making memes aren't making money from memes.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, you might see the web page of a for-profit organization share a meme that and then one could sort of like, well, these views are worth this and that, that kind of thing. But that's not making money off a meme. Sorry. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
At WolfHillAmmo.com, we love shotguns. We offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market, including our defensive combo packs for home and retreat. Our less lethal combo is good for animal control, the 4-legged kind and 2-legged. When lethal force is necessary, reach for our Stop 'em, Drop 'em, or our home defense combos. These 5-round packs include different heavy hitters to protect your loved ones. Visit WolfHillAmmo.com to see our great prices on these combo packs and other specialty shotgun ammo rounds. WolfHillAmmo.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict, or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever you want to talk about. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
And we've been talking about this story of this California assemblyman who apparently spanked his daughter. We don't know why exactly. And the school found out about it. There appears to be an injury of some sort, but not like not like an open wound or anything. Just maybe a bruise.
Right, and according to the local police, the injury was not on her butt.
But there's no description of what the injury was. Possibly
right, they didn't say what
bruise.
the injury was. Right. They didn't say where the injury was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's probably because if you spank a kid on its butt, it's probably not going to show an injury. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no injury from spanking. If
it depends on what you're using to do the spanking.
Look, buddy, how did you get spanked? Barbed wire? Okay. Oh, well, great. Somebody who's informed on the topic. All right.
My mom had a wooden paddle.
Okay. My mother had a wooden spoon.
I knew people that got spanked and their parents used like folded up leather belts.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I've seen the belt technique too. And
if you swing hard enough with a belt, it's going to leave a bruise.
Right. And what they're probably not doing is they're probably not hitting 7-year-olds with belts. See, what people who talk about belts and talk about willow branches and these sorts of things fail to mention is that often these are employed when you can remember them better on, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. Now, I'm not saying you should be spanking 10 or 11 or 12-year-olds. You've probably messed up. If you have to spank a 12-year-old, you've probably messed up parenting. That's just a guess. I'm just guessing you've already messed this up. All right, so, but I can see why somebody might try to employ something at that point. But, I don't think we've never spanked my child. However, as a parent, I can see, I think a little bit of physical correction at times could be employed in a, meaningful sense. Now, that stands in contrast to Barbara Greenberg, a family psychologist, I presume from California, where this is handled. It says that anything that hurts a child physically and emotionally is, in my opinion, abuse and should be reported. Too often, kids go to school looking for help and they're not taken seriously. The child took this very seriously, as they should, and they did what they were supposed to do. Nothing good comes from spanking. There are much, much better ways to teach your children losing control and putting your hands on a child. Okay, here's where it goes, right? Like suddenly spanking is losing control as opposed to calculated. And
well, for some people it is losing control.
Look, it is. Beating your child, right? Like, taking your fist and popping a 6-year-old right in the jaw is child abuse. No one's saying it's not. However, my claim would be that physical correction, it's used on dogs pretty effectively. It's used on cats pretty effectively. It's used on, when you're talking about a child that can't communicate as well, in some cases. I'm not talking about beating babies either.
It really depends on the child, and it depends on what the child has done. And once again, you have to leave it to the discretion of the parents to use their judgment.
Well, here's where I would go. I immediately switch sides. I'm of the opinion that most of the parents are idiots. Okay, like I don't think they're qualified to have kids. That's my opinion.
Most parents,
but I also don't think that Barbara Greenberger is qualified either. Mm-hmm. I think that 97% of the spankings that are given in America, yes, I just made that up right here on the spot, are probably inappropriate. Like 97% of them.
I don't know. I think that I know my kids better than anybody else.
Okay.
Also, I love my children more than the state ever will love my children. And I know what's best for them because I know them better than the state. So for the state to come in and say, we know your kids better than you do, we know what's best for your kids better than you do, it's insulting and it's wrong.
No, I don't claim that the state is qualified to make this decision at all. And that's really the difficulty, is I have to give it over to people who I think are unqualified to have children. Mm-hmm. All right? whom I think that, some good large percentage of people who have kids are. So that's my difficulty is I'm stuck in this netherworld of, I'm certain the government's terrible at this.
Also, a lot of this is what Jonathan Haidt was talking about. Jonathan Haidt is a social psychologist at NYU, and he says that a lot of the problems we're seeing at universities where the university students don't want anything that might upset them. He says that a lot of this is because the children are being too sheltered as they're growing up. They're not being allowed to get hurt, as children have for centuries. You play, sometimes you fall down, sometimes you skin your knee. But the children are being so sheltered now. They're not allowed to play outside by themselves. They're not allowed to have any kind of fights with other kids, that they are not equipped for adulthood. And they end up at the universities, and they want the university authorities to protect them from anything that might upset them whatsoever.
I think that the worst thing is that they're just not told no enough. Sometimes you just got to tell, you just got to tell kids no. My son had a fit relatively recently about not getting to see Aquaman when he wanted to see Aquaman. Not that he wasn't going to get to see it, just that the schedule did not fit his little 10-year-old brain. And had to get told no, that the consequences for his action of rescheduling and, doing things were going to be such that we were unwilling to do what he was asking. And then, I guess he had a meltdown over that, probably because he doesn't have enough things to have a meltdown over. In my opinion, life needs to be a little harder for you if this is a problem. That's how I saw it. Mm-hmm. So let's go to the phones. We've got Larry calling in from Evansville. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thanks for taking my call. I'd like to ask a question about Bitcoin, and that is this. Do you think, let me preface this by saying there's a case, maybe you've heard of it. You can't probably Google it.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Larry. Have we heard of what?
Sorry. Can you hear me all right now?
What did you ask if we've heard of?
There's a case of a kidnapping in Norway. I'll give you her name, but it's kind of a long. Anne Elizabeth Falkovik Hagen, who was kidnapped, and the perpetrators are demanding the equivalent of $10 million in untraceable Monero.
Okay.
Now, my question is this: concerning Bitcoin in general, if it's untraceable, I see the positive aspect of that.
Yep.
But can you see a probable rise in these types of cases in the future?
Yes.
Concerning untraceable, for lack of a better, untraceable currency, and what kind of a problem that'll cause with this circumstance and others that may be, relate types of circumstances like this.
I brought up kidnapping and murder for hire as a problem facing Bitcoin in 2012, and
what kind of resolution or what kind of problem solving areas can be addressed here as far as taking care of that, because we certainly do need to find these perpetrators. If they're kidnapping, murdering, doing whatever that they're doing, we need to be able to find these individuals.
All I can tell you is that at this point, that policing organizations are going to have to evolve and get better. The FBI basically eliminated kidnapping in the United States as a problem, and I will give them credit where credit is due. I think that they, have conducted themselves in unprofessional ways and many times in the recent past. However, I will say the FBI basically eliminated kidnapping in the United States, kidnapping for money in the United States. They're still kidnapping your own kid, right? Like, parents taking their kids across state line and all that stuff.
Right.
That's very real, happens all the time. I don't know what you're going to do to stop that. But when you're talking about untraceable cryptocurrencies, kidnapping could be a real issue, and policing agencies are going to have to get better. People are going to have to evolve their understanding of when crimes are going to occur and that sort of thing. Now, remember, when it comes to kidnapping, this kidnapping that occurred, I think it's at least of a Norwegian businessman's wife occurred, he's a tycoon, right? Like, he's rich. Rich people have to realize that the world is different for them than it is for the rest of us.
They usually have more security than normal people.
They've got something to lose. And so that's one place, is that when you're rich, you could stop relying on me to pay for your, your protection agencies through the police, and you could start taking care of it on your own. You got money,
right? But it's not only the rich though, because you have when Americans were going working.
Hold the line.
Industry,
Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. This live edition, it is Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
And it's a Sunday night, the Sunday night live edition here on Free Talk Live. We were talking to Gary from Evansville about Bitcoin and the possibility of kidnapping associated with it. But it's worth bringing up that Bitcoin.com is a major sponsor and has been of Free Talk Live for some time. Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything that's Bitcoin related. Bitcoin.com can help you choose a Bitcoin wallet, buy Bitcoin, show you where to spend your Bitcoin. You can also read the latest news or engage with the community on the Bitcoin forum. You can learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. So let's see if I can bring Larry back here. Larry, specifically these people who kidnapped the disappearance of Anne Elizabeth Falkenvik Hagen from her home in Lorenskog, Norway was, this is a pretty big deal, especially in a place like Norway, that the wife of this rich tycoon, by the way, they're calling this guy a tycoon. This house is modest. I don't know what that means, what that says about Norway or what that says about this tycoon or what it says about anything, but this is a modest house. But I guess they had done it for Monero as opposed to Bitcoin. Not that that makes a big bit of difference because, honestly, you could make a Bitcoin payment untraceable too.
Not as easily, where Monero has some of that stuff built in.
Yes.
Right. Well, what's going to? I think the more widely that Bitcoin is used with people that have, they don't have to have millions or billions of net worth.
Yep.
They could have thousands or 10,000s or $20,000, $50,000.
Yep.
So the more widely Bitcoin is used, I think you're going to see a rise in that because of the highly probability that Bitcoin is untraceable. So when you say law enforcement agencies or whomever is going to have to evolve, that may require being able to trace Bitcoin. And also, as an example, concerning the ransoms and things, there's people in the United States that are working in South America oil fields that are advised to get kidnap insurance before they go down there. And these aren't tycoons.
Probably a good idea.
These are the daily workers. Well,
yeah,
right.
I mean, do you really, are you, you don't really believe you could just go around the world and not have to deal with kidnapping possibilities, right? I mean, it's a reality.
Well, it certainly is a reality.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. If they start requesting that in Bitcoin, then the reality of catching these individuals is going to become
it's going to get harder.
Less.
And by the way, you can't just make Bitcoin traceable. So, that's not a solution.
Well, you can go and hold on.
You can say what is not the solution. What is the solution then?
Okay, as a talk show host, it's not my obligation to tell you what the solution is. Bitcoin's a technology.
Okay. But you're saying it's not the solution.
It's not the solution. You cannot do it. It's like saying that we should tape butterfly wings to this pig and get it to fly. It's not going to happen.
Well, that's the same thing as calling it business and getting a no from somebody that's not authorized to give you a yes.
Buddy, Bitcoin is I'm not
your buddy.
Larry, you can't make Bitcoin traceable. I can make Bitcoin untraceable as soon as you make a Bitcoin traceable.
Bitcoin is transparent, meaning that all the transactions are visible.
Yes.
Monero, not all of the transactions are visible. But what I'm hearing here is kind of, the same sort of thing that people were talking about 20 years ago when the internet started coming about and people were asking for credit card numbers through email. Oh, we've got to stop that. People are using credit cards. So, credit cards are the problem. No, credit cards aren't the problem. Bitcoin isn't the problem. The problem is criminals, and criminals just asking for payment in different methods.
I don't think any of the people here think that kidnapping isn't a serious thing.
It's going to get worse. He's right.
But I don't
know if it's going to get worse.
You're damn right. Look, if I can kidnap your wife off the street, and I'm sorry, Laurel. Go ahead, Laurel.
I don't think that Bitcoin is going to significantly increase the incidence of kidnapping.
I do.
It's not the only thing that the money isn't the only way to catch kidnappers. They do a lot of other things that lead to their capture.
Right.
And sure, tracing the money is one of them, but it's certainly not the only thing. So it's not like now that there's Bitcoin, there's absolutely no way to catch these guys.
Nope.
So it may increase it slightly, may make them a little bit harder to catch. I don't anticipate it making it significantly more frequent.
Well, okay, so one of the main ways to catch a kidnapper in back in the past, and I'm sure Larry knows this. Larry's old enough to know here. Is that you would wait until the exchange happens. When the exchange happens, you get them. Right, so it has to do with the exchange of the money. Well, now I can kidnap, whomever. I said Darryl's wife, who is a fictitious wife at this point. I kidnap Darryl's fictitious wife. I presumably know, okay, I get a little information out of her. All right, you're going to lose one of your fingers if you don't tell me where you live and the telephone number. All right, I got the telephone number. And then I say, Darryl, it's going to cost you $10,000 to get your wife back. Well, I don't have $10,000. Well, you're going to have to come up with it. Start doing a fundraiser. You got 5 days. And he comes up with the $10,000. He sends it to the Bitcoin address. And I release the wife on the other side of town. Now, see, there's no exchange. The exchange has ceased to occur, and it's not like I'm going to drop him off. Oh well, I don't want you to have to walk all the way. It's cold. It's January in New Hampshire.
Maybe it's cold outside.
Right. So off she goes. So Larry's right. Now, Larry's solution isn't going to work, and he thinks that I'm dismissing it because I'm saying his solution's not going to work, and that's not the case. I don't know how this is going to get solved, Larry. I don't.
Well, Aaron, I didn't say that I didn't pose a solution. That I asked the question.
You can't do.
If they could.
You can't make.
If they can't make it traceable, then that is not a solution. And I understand that.
Yep.
But I disagree with Laurel in the sense that if Bitcoin then helps to facilitate those individuals not getting caught, then I do foresee it becoming a more useful tool in the future, therefore increasing the instances of kidnap where they can demand lower and lower amounts depending on the type of person. If they kidnap a person that's worth $1 billion, yeah, they're going to request more. If they could kidnap someone who's worth $100,000, then they'll simply request less. And it doesn't take very long for that individual to set up that person.
Most people could come up with $2,000, $3,000 right now if a family member got kidnapped.
Sure.
Obviously, Americans don't. And at $3,000, if you're talking about 2 guys involved in a kidnapping, maybe 3 guys involved in a kidnapping, $3,000, that's $1,000 a week. They're going to look at that as a reasonable paycheck, and maybe they'll go ahead and do that in the United States. Obviously, in the United States, the law enforcement apparatus is better than it is in some other countries. And I think rich people are going to, the more wealthy you are, the more responsibility you're going to have to take for where you're wandering around and what you're doing.
Well, one of the things that's going on at the same time that cryptocurrency is becoming more common is that people and objects are becoming more traceable. And if it really does become more of an issue, then you can put a chip in people, or at least in your kids, especially if you have more money. It's not an optimal option, but it is an option.
Yeah, it's probably coming down the pike too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Larry, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450 free. Let's go to Tony calling in from St. Paul. Tony, you're on Free Talk Live. Thanks for the call. 855-450 free. Let's go to Joe calling in from Alabama. Joe, you're on Free Talk Live. Oh, and he dropped off. I pushed the wrong button. Call back, Joe. Sorry.
Oops.
Mike from San Jose. You're on Free Talk Live, Mike.
Hello?
Hello, Mike. What's on your mind? I got my finger on the dump button, Mike, just so you know.
Okay. I got a question about college administration and how they're too sensitive nowadays.
Okay. What is it? Thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. Tom in Raleigh. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I wanted to talk about government funding for the roads. Since the government has been shut down, who's going to be funding the roads?
Well, right now, nothing's happening.
Before I start, I just noticed that you did something different with your hair.
Yep. I did it?
No.
I did it because we raised $35,000 to buy some land for an orphanage in Jinja, Uganda.
Oh.
And regarding funding for the roads, the federal government is partially shut down. Roads are funded by state and local governments.
What about the interstate? That's got to be federal funding.
There's some federal funding that comes from there, but I don't know if that part of the government is quote-unquote shut down.
Okay, well, there you go. 855-450-3733 here on Free Talk Live.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, January 13th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.60 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,288 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.3 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,642. Antiwar.com reports a new draft resolution making its way to the UN Security Council seeks to establish a long-term Yemen ceasefire monitoring mission. The resolution is drafted by Britain and expected to be voted on next week. A previous resolution from December 21st established a small monitoring team for 30 days. About 20 monitors are in place now. Under the British plan, up to 75 monitors could be sent. The initial period would be 6 months, and the resolution makes room for extensions. In addition to monitoring the ceasefire, the new mission would monitor troop redeployment promised by both sides and help provide security for 3 ports within the ceasefire area, including the main aid port in Hodeidah. Britain's last attempt at such a resolution was derailed by U.S. and Saudi opposition as they demanded that the resolution blame everything on Iran and also remove any call for war crimes investigations. The compromise resolution killed the investigation call, but it did not blame Iran. It also made the Monitor project very temporary, which is why a new version is being sought just weeks later. Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc. UPI reports Nobel Prize-winning scientist James Watson was stripped of his honorary titles from Cold Springs Harbor Laboratory, the New York facility where he worked for nearly 4 decades. The facility said it condemned his views on race and ethnicity, which he recently expressed in the PBS documentary American Masters, Decoding Watson. He resigned under fire from Cold Springs Harbor Laboratory in 2007 after telling a British newspaper that people of African descent tend to have lower intelligence. In the PBS documentary, the host asked Watson if he had changed his views on race in the decade since his departure from the lab. He said his views had not changed. The laboratory said in a statement, Dr. Watson's statements are reprehensible, unsupported by science, and in no way represent the views of CSHL, its trustees, faculty, staff, or students. The laboratory condemns the misuse of science to justify prejudice. The CSHL said it revoked 3 titles, including Chancellor Emeritus and Honorary Trustee. He served as director in 1968, president in 1994, and chancellor in 2004. Watson, as a young postdoctoral student at Cambridge, worked with Francis Crick to unravel the DNA molecule structure. Watson, Crick, and another British scientist, Maurice Wilkins, won the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1962. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Reuters reports a partial U.S. government shutdown over President Donald Trump's demand for $5.7 billion to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border entered its 22nd day on Saturday, making it the longest shutdown of federal agencies in U.S. history, with no end in sight. Trump, holed up in the White House with Congress adjourned for the weekend, warned of a much lengthier impasse and blamed the Democrats. He said during a telephone interview with Fox News Saturday night, "They're the ones that are holding it up. It would take me 15 minutes to get a deal done, and everybody can go back to work." Democrats say Trump shut the government down in a temper tantrum by refusing to sign bipartisan funding legislation last year that did not include money for his border wall. The closure, which began on December 22nd, broke a decades-old record by a 1995-96 shutdown under former President Bill Clinton that lasted 21 days. Affected federal workers missed their first paycheck on Friday, heightening concerns about mounting financial pressures on employees, including air traffic controllers and airport security officials who continue to work without pay. Roughly 800,000 federal workers did not receive paychecks that would have gone out on Friday. Trump is considering a possible national emergency declaration that would end the shutdown and allow him to obtain his wall funding by circumventing Congress. But on Saturday, he said that he would rather Democrats take action, adding that he was waiting at the White House ready to cut a deal. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Seniors thunder into a local high school parking lot like coalition forces entering Baghdad. A substitute teacher just needs to make it to her car before breaking down in tears. And a college freshman tells his roommate there's no need to hide his masturbation from him. And now a week in review that truly requires no introduction. The nation's students announced this week that they have reluctantly agreed to give the American education system yet another chance, saying they hope educators keep their promises of smaller class size, better school supplies, and intensified efforts to raise the country's international math ranking. The nation's students vowed to give the education system one more shot, despite claiming to have been burned many, many times in the past. In other news, a man overcomes alcoholism without the help of Jesus, and an outcast student and a lonely teacher have begun a somewhat endearing sexual relationship. And that was a free lesson in top-shelf journalism. For more news, videos, and reminders of your insignificance, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live Sunday edition. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. We're talking about the story of a California assemblyman who apparently spanked his daughter. We're not entirely sure why. And got, I guess because it's California, got arrested. Public school was involved, right? So, reports vary. On one hand, she told the teacher. On the other hand, the teacher noticed a mark of some sort. Something is referred to as a mark. So presumably it wasn't on her bottom, right? So the police department have now inspected her bottom.
Yep.
Which leaves me all kinds of comfortable that the police officers of America are inspecting 7-year-old girls' bottoms, and I don't know. Did she voluntarily show her bottom? I have no idea. Like we got no information on all this stuff. But what I do believe we're dealing with here is probably a government that's a little too intrusive on the way you raise your kids. I've got another story that I think worth pointing out. Now this. It's worth mentioning this isn't from news. This is from a blog. Okay, that doesn't make it untrue. It's sort of self-reported. So a father has said that CPS told him that a picture of his child sleeping on his chest posted on Facebook was inappropriate.
And it was a baby, right?
Babyish. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to call that? I think he's about 1.
Oh, yeah, that's a baby.
That's a baby.
Maybe 1.
And I'm not as good at guessing these as I probably should be.
Mm-hmm.
A father in Marion County, Indiana, pleads with with Facebook. I was thinking it was California. With Facebook users to share the photo DCS took off Facebook and used to keep a case against the father open. A social worker with the agency told the father that the picture was inappropriate. Now, this is the father reporting that this is the case. The Indiana Department of Children's Services has had the child in their custody.
Oh, that's crazy.
For the last 15 months. Now, that's not over the picture.
Oh.
He's trying to get his child back, and then the CPS tells him that the picture, among other things, right? Like, there's a list of things that you could do to be a better father. Don't post this.
Why was the child taken away in the first place? Do we know?
Trying to find the father, but unfit, but failed. They have not returned their child and recently used this picture to keep the case open, and the father was told that he had to be watched, even though he has passed all of their tests and could not find him unfit. I couldn't find the reason exactly as to why the kid was taken, but according to this...
He's not an unfit father.
He's not an unfit father. The picture was brought to our attention by Monica, whatever. She's running for Connecticut state rep. She asked her Facebook followers that if they thought that this was a gender discrimination when mothers put their children on the chest to breastfeed. Monica believes that protecting parent-child bonds by protecting parents and their children from government overreach. She works very hard to protect parenthood and the planning that goes into having a child and raising your child, how you can choose to raise your child.
Let me see the picture again.
Yep. There's nothing.
So, Mark, please describe the picture for people that aren't you and Laurel looking at it.
Yeah, I can describe it. It's the father. It looks like he's not wearing anything on his chest.
Shirtless.
It's waist up, and there's a blanket going over the baby. So the baby might not be clothed, but he's covered.
He's probably got a diaper on.
The audience, he might have a diaper on. We can't really tell from the photo.
It's best not to keep a naked baby on your chest without a diaper.
You'll get a mess. But there's a blanket
do you want peed on? That's how you get peed on.
That's how you get peed on.
Yeah.
Every parent has been peed on at least once. That's how these things
and the
occur.
baby is asleep. He has a pacifier in his mouth. It's actually a very heartwarming picture.
Skin-to-skin contact is occurring, and everything I've read in parenting blogs and the sort of stuff that I've read online is that skin-to-skin contact is extraordinarily important in the rearing of children, that this is the way that bonds are created and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I mean, I can only presume that experts know this stuff. I don't.
I think it's harmful to children for so much of society to be saying that men shouldn't be involved in the lives of children. I think that we should be encouraging, especially fathers, to participate in the lives of their children, including what we're describing, hugging them, skin-to-skin contact, especially with a very small child. All of these things we should be encouraging, and instead we're discouraging. We're discouraging men from spending time with children, and the children are suffering from it.
Yeah, I think that it is. We now live in a world where male sexuality is considered dangerous and horrifying. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, I really expected at some point that somebody, that seeing this, right? You've got an unclothed man, at least from the chest up, I presume from the waist up, and a child who appears to be unclothed, probably from the waist up, now touching each other, and that this is somehow going to be sexualized. Mm-hmm. And that's all I can presume that the CPS of Indiana is talking about when they say this.
Right. There's nothing sexual in that picture at all.
It's insane to suggest otherwise.
But are they alleging that it's a sexual thing, or are they just saying it's inappropriate? Because things can be inappropriate that aren't sexual.
They can be. But why would this be inappropriate if it wasn't sexual?
Yeah, I
you
can't
have to
imagine
jump to
what else it would
conclusions,
be.
Darryl. And I know you're not good. Conclusions aren't your favorite thing. But I mean, I don't know. Look, help me out here, Darryl. Don't ask me a question. Tell me what could possibly, search your mind and claw around. What could they possibly consider to be inappropriate?
I don't know. Why did they take his child in the first place?
There's a picture of an ashtray next to him. I find that inappropriate.
Yeah, maybe the smoking is what is actually inappropriate.
There's no smoking. There's just an ashtray. We don't know whether he smoked near the child or not. But I find an ashtray unacceptable, but that's just because I live in a non-smoking life.
I have a lot of unanswered questions, and if I start asking them, you're just going to get angry and say, I don't know.
I'm not angry, Darryl. Well, I'm not angry. What I'm saying is that they took this guy's kid away, and one of the things they said to get him back, when he doesn't have a pending case, from what I can tell here, is that he needs to pull down a picture off of Facebook that looks completely appropriate.
This is government overreach. They're getting too involved
It's insanity.
in the individual lives of families and people.
Yeah, that's all I can. The only conclusion I can come to. I don't know. I mean,
right. And again, you admitted this is not from a news source. We don't have the full story. We just have one person's
news sources are
input.
wrong every time, Darryl.
Not every time.
Every single time. I mean, every article I've ever read about me and something I know personally, there's been something in it where I'm like, well, that's factually inaccurate, but it's close enough. They got close enough because they don't live my life. They wouldn't know.
I completely agree. There's been times I don't think there's been stories about me, but there's been times where I'm sort of very involved in a story and I've never seen them get it completely right. There's always something that's wrong.
Right. But it's going to be a lot closer to the truth than just one person's side of the story because everybody thinks I did nothing wrong regardless of what they did.
Agreed.
That's true.
They do, but journalists don't. Journalists
don't
provide both sides.
They attempt to get both sides.
Didn't you say an assembly
journalist, not just some talking head reporter guy on 6 on your side TV that reads a thing? That's not a journalist.
Well,
journalists actually try to find out the truth.
But it wasn't only the father that published this, right? It was another.
This is a blog where they did some research here. You can see that they went through and they looked for the CPS file. They couldn't find the bloggers here at fixfamilycourts.com.
Okay.
And I'm sure that they've dealt with more than one time somebody telling a story that is not entirely factually accurate. So they did their best to report this story as best they could. But, when I look for stories online, I look for what I think to be something that is probably a problem that's pervasive, not the specific issue, because I don't want to tear apart the specific issue. What I want to tear apart is that I'm pretty certain that a CPS worker would say this. That this does not surprise me that this occurred. I would also say the CPS worker does not consider the father to be appropriate parent generally. That we as Americans generally don't consider fathers to be should not be the primary caregiver, and that shouldn't be true every time.
It's the tender years doctrine.
Yep. That we also don't think that we also are frightened to death of male sexuality, that if a sexual allegation is made of a male, that is presumed to be true as opposed to presumed to be false.
I agree.
And that is an undermining of the very principles that founded this country, and people need to self-examine very, very quickly when they see stories like this. So that's my thoughts. I don't know. Your thoughts are welcome. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy.
DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies.
Grass, pollen, dust,
dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
And Cindy Lukasevic.
inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features smart rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn smart rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, hell yeah. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live Sunday night edition. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind here. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE.
And for some reason, Mark wants Darryl to tell you about Liberty.menu.
I often give this one to you. I think you're doing a great job. You go over there far more than I think the other two of us combined.
No, I thought it was because you didn't want to put your reading glasses on to actually read words. But Liberty.menu...
You usually print these out big enough that I can see them.
Liberty.menu is a directory of liberty-minded businesses. It's something that libertarians have been asking for a while, right? And there have been several attempts that just sort of seem to fade away, but Liberty.menu seems to be sticking around. And at its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, digital content, and more. The listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp, but there's also a bit of a social networking aspect where you can connect and share with other users. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu. And since the site is free to use, we can't give you a discount because 10% off of zero is still zero, but we can get you a Free Talk Live listener badge. So use code FTL to get that listener badge added to your profile over at liberty.menu.
Yeah, I found liberty.menu to be useful because, well, you can look by state and, use a map and find out what's in your area. Liberty.menu. Let's go to Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yes, I just want to mention that we killed 106
We?
people.
Who?
I wasn't involved in killing anybody.
No, I mean New Mexico, our state.
Okay.
Our state only
The
killed
state
like
government?
100
Were they bad?
Well,
Were they bad people?
Here, the state, only 106 people were killed in DWI accidents.
Okay, so drunk drivers in the state of New Mexico killed more than 100 people?
Well, it's all like alcohol related. I guess.
Yeah, generally, if somebody's drunk, there's alcohol in their system.
Right. So I think altogether, everything combined, like pedestrians, bicycle, everything combined, is like 363. All of the auto fatalities.
Okay.
This is just automobile to automobile.
How do you want to solve this?
Well, it's actually
prohibition.
It's lower. It's actually lower than last year. So
Good
I
news.
think last year was more. Yeah, this is actually a lower count.
You've been calling in about this issue for some time, Sarah, and I'd say that you could chalk this up as a victory that you share with Free Talk Live. Thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Darryl, another situation with parents and child protective services being called?
Yeah, but before we get to that, there was a letter to the editor that somebody wrote to the Fresno Bee about this California Assembly guy.
Oh, yeah, you wanted to read this letter. Okay, go ahead.
And this guy, I'm just going to read the entire letter.
All right.
Here, instead of skipping to what I think are the quote-unquote best parts of it.
All right.
Story time.
Assemblyman Joaquin Arambula has been arrested for misdemeanor child abuse for spanking his 7-year-old daughter on her bottom. He stated he did it to discipline her as a last resort, which he does in his home perhaps once a year. Based on our experiences with our 3 children, who are now professionals and parents themselves, Mr. Arambula made 2 mistakes. I'm not criticizing his use of spanking because spanking has been used successfully for centuries to teach discipline to children. It's even biblically supported. No, his mistakes were methodological. Firstly, he should have established with his daughter from an early age that defiance and disobedience will not be tolerated and will have consequences. Spanking should not be a last resort, but our first and only method of teaching obedience. If it is done immediately when needed, there will be no excess emotion present.
You know what I dislike?
What?
Parents that think that you have to raise your kids the way that they raised their kids. And this is from, Sergeant Slaughter here on down to Mama Moon Unit, right? Oh, you should never tell the kids no. You should never reward them with anything like their actions. You should let them learn from the world. Like all of it. Y'all don't know how to raise my kid because A, you ain't me, and B, you ain't my kid. Shut your damn mouth. The idea that the guy picked up a pen to write this shows what a pain in the butt it must have been to live in his house.
And it continues. Spanking is not done to injure the child, but to bring a momentary sting as a consequence of her choice. Then the child is to be comforted and held and talked to, at which time the reason for the spanking is explained. It's because the child is loved. The second aspect is to return the issue that triggered the negative response in the first place, to teach the importance of obedience. If the child again refuses to follow directions, she should be asked if she wants to have a spanking over this. If she decides to continue to defiant, the process is without emotion done again until she gets the point.
I appreciate the notion that he has of the warning and that this is what's going to occur. The child knows what's going to occur because they've had it happen before. And the the whole obedience thing, that's not the way I want to live my life, and it's not the way I want to raise my kids. But there has to be some level of obedience.
My mother wouldn't say, "Do you want a spanking?" She would say, "I'll give you a reason to cry."
There's that one
and
too.
It worked very well.
Right, and it turns out that that generation wasn't talking about spankings. They were talking about burning up the carbon, polluting the lakes, and leaving us with a government $22 trillion in debt.
Continuing on, he says, our daughter needed only one day to get the point and never needed to be disciplined again. Our boys needed more. I wish Mr. Arambula and his wife much success and patience in this difficult task of raising his daughter. With much love and consistency, they will have much success. Discipline, done correctly, is never abuse, but training. Signed, Ridney J. Nidover, Fresno.
Yeah, that's a good letter for us, Darryl, because what it shows is that there's all different parenting styles.
Right, and it sounds like this guy, you jokingly called him Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
But it does sound like some boot camp drill instructor guy of, you will be disciplined. You will be disciplined the way I was disciplined.
You will be standing by your bunk by 6 a.m. every morning with it made. If I cannot bounce a quarter off of that bunk, you will get you want a spanking? You will get a spank. That's what it feels like. And if it's not that way at his house, it's that way at some maniac's house.
Yes.
That's the way it is.
But it's also true what he said, that the different kids need the different types of discipline.
I think
my
that
son and daughter
absolutely
were very different. My daughter needed a lot more discipline than my son.
I just don't think that this guy knows how much discipline my kid needs.
That's true.
I'm not proposing the state of California go and retroactively charge Sergeant Slaughter here with child abuse or anything like that, because I don't think that's a solution. I think what's happening in places like California is that society is moving away from spanking as a punishment, that you can usually punish ways that that are effective that aren't spanking. However, when they start using the force of the state to come in and punish the parents for punishing the kids with force, I think they're being highly hypocritical. Your thoughts on spanking or anything else? 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free as in freedom here on Free Talk Live.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free here on Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
So, Darryl, we are talking about this situation. We just finished reading some story about,
was a letter to the editor from some guy in defense of the California assemblyman that was arrested for spanking his kid, but he also sort of chided the state rep, if you will, and said, well, he didn't do it the right way. He spanks as a last resort. It should be the first and only resort, and then you hug little Johnny after you beat his ass.
Why the Southern accent?
He's from the South.
All right.
It's more angry old codger that thinks he knows better than everybody.
Yeah, I think there's a whole bunch that goes into this sort of choosing to use the Southern accent thing. There's all kinds of stereotypes, but Southerners tend to be a little more conservative, and who's more likely to go in the military? Maybe it's Southerners. I don't know. But
Jesus beat his children. I'm going to beat mine.
See? That's
I don't think Jesus beat his children.
I don't think he had them.
I don't think he had
them.
Yeah,
but there are Southern rednecks, and there was somebody that.
But there are no rednecks in New Hampshire?
Oh, there are rednecks in New Hampshire as well. Some of them even try to have a Southern accent. I've seen it,
or heard it.
Yeah, but the stereotype is the person that's going to be doing this sort of thing generally is going to,
at the very least, you can't discount Darryl's personal experience as a Southerner finding idiots with whom that he disagrees. I can certainly verify that I met plenty of them.
So
myself.
You're describing your community?
No.
Well, at one time it was.
Yes.
Before we go on with it, though, I want to thank the amplifiers, all the amplifiers, and specifically Jake Leonard. He's a gold amplifier. If you want to be an amplifier and you want to see Free Talk Live, which is, it's a unique program. There aren't any other programs out there where you could just call in and talk about anything you want. There aren't programs that support the ideas of liberty the way we support them. And there aren't very many that are even going to discuss the notion of spanking and give a hearing to both sides. So just go to amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com and participate.
Well, I think the whole thing with the kids, there's two issues here. There's, is it okay to spank your kids as a cultural issue? And then there's, at what point should the government get involved?
Right.
And so you can have different opinions on the two different things. And
yes.
Maybe some people spank their kids a little too quickly. I don't know. But I think that the threshold for the government getting involved should be a lot different from what it is.
Yeah, I think that spanking can be considered child abuse if it's done improperly and often enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree with that. If you like the first, every moment is the raised hand for, everything that's considered a misstep along the way, then, well, that's bad parenting to my mind.
I think there's an area where maybe it's not okay, but the government shouldn't get involved yet.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, at that point, it's an opinion. And other points, look, ultimately, these are your kids, and you're going to have to deal with them for the rest of your life. If you turn them into, bombed out, shell-shocked nut jobs, then that's something you're going to have to deal with, or society will. We have places for people who can't deal with their fellow human beings very well. We call them prisons. And the population of people in prison that are spanked is pretty high as a percentage.
Probably the population of prison guards that were spanked also probably pretty high.
Well, I think most people have been spanked, especially throughout history. It was a very common form of discipline for a very long time, and it's not like everybody in history was completely screwed up.
Well, I can tell you there's this one circumstance, I think it was in the 1600s in England, where in order to remember the day thoroughly, they something important happened on that day. So they took 3 boys and they beat the hell out of them on that day and told them the date, and so that they would remember.
Yeah, that's abuse.
That's abuse, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that would be an example.
Now, what about children doing chores?
Yeah.
Where does that come on the spectrum of you're teaching little Susie responsibility and you're violating child labor laws? Possibly. Story from Reasons Hit and Run blog. A mother in Woodinville, Washington, posted an advertisement on behalf of her 9-year-old daughter, Sarah, who was willing to do housework, laundry, dishes, etc., for neighborhood moms who needed a helping hand. 6 hours later, the cops showed up to make sure that little Sarah wasn't being abused or worked to death. That, according to Christina Bear, Sarah's mom, who wrote a letter about the incident. Bear wrote, apparently the ad generated multiple phone calls from paranoid neighbors thinking I was using my child as a slave. The article continues. This would spark some discussion.
That there is children and slaves from a legal standpoint are vanishingly similar. Now, I'm not talking about in real life, but it is legal for me to take my kid, put him to work, and keep his paycheck.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is legal for me to put my kid, like right now, at 10 years old, out in the fields to do agricultural work.
Yes.
I think there are some protections for children in the entertainment industry, specifically because there's so much money involved and there was so much exploitation going on. But I think that might be the only industry where some of the money is required to be set aside in a trust fund.
I couldn't speak to the money, but I could say that basically you can't go to work before the age of 14, pretty much any place besides agriculture or television or movies. And thus, those are the 2 places you have to kind of look for child labor. I'm not prepared to call a 14-year-old child labor, but I can tell you that that the rules for 14 and 15-year-olds are so strict that many places simply won't hire you until 16 because it's just not worth dealing with the employees, the 14 and 15-year-old employees.
I had a paper route when I was 12.
Paper routes, you're right. Paper routes are another one. Very good.
And I started babysitting when I was 11.
You're a contractor. At that point, you're
independent contractor.
Independent contractor delivering papers. Just a kid working under the table as a babysitter. I worked at a comic book store, but I didn't earn cash. I earned comic books from 12 years old. So was I an employee or was I something different? I think that
I don't know. What kind of paperwork did they fill out?
None.
Then you are not an employee.
Right. Well, I probably wasn't an employee for a long time then because they really didn't start, even after that, they were giving me less than minimum wage and, a variety of things. I was happy to get it.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about putting comic books in alphabetical order, walking down from the store to go get somebody a soda. I mean, the kind of things that I did as labor were not very impressive. It was just basically a place to hang out, and they gave me tasks and paid me a little bit of stuff, and I was happy for it.
It was also really common when I was growing up for neighborhood kids to rake lawns for money, shovel snow, mow the lawn. All of that stuff was really common.
I think it was about 2 winters ago, about these teenage boys in New Jersey that they were trying to shovel snow, and they wound up getting cited for operating a business without a permit.
That's crazy.
I, probably 15 years ago, when I was down in Sarasota, Florida, was attempting to find a young man that would mow my grass for $20. And I stopped and talked to 3 young men on the street when I saw them out there. Hey, you want to earn some money? I got $20 to mow the lawn. Seemed like a fair number to me. Maybe it was low. I don't know. But none of them ever came by to mow the grass.
They probably all thought it was weird that you would even want them to do it.
I have no idea, but I mean, we're not even talking. Those men at this point, let's see, they're 15 years. Those are 30-year-old men now. And I weep for the generation,
Yeah, when we were doing all these chores when I was in my preteens and early teens, this taught us responsibility. It taught us about money. We had earned our own money, and it felt good, and we liked being able to do that. And a lot of it was really independent contracting. We were entrepreneurs.
You can't tell me how to spend my money. I earned this money.
Yes.
That's how I felt.
That's what I would say to my parents.
Probably more than one occasion, gave my 2 cents on how I felt about it. The number's 855-450-3733. What do you think about young people in jobs these days? I think this little girl ought to be applauded. 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Crammed into tiny bar stools, cramped diner booths, and filthy cars where moving their limbs is either uncomfortable or impossible. Hundreds of thousands of consumers rip apart chicken wings or tear off bites of Heroes and hamburgers every single day, often to the point of bloating, belching, and outright physical pain. Barbecue sauce or hamburger juice will literally dribble down these poor beasts' mouths and onto their shirts, their beards thick with pungent grease. Treated as little more than machines to be stuffed full of smoked pork, marinated chicken, and dry-aged beef, consumers are forced to wait in long lines, often while still fully conscious, before buying their meat and ripping it off the bone with their mouths in plain view of other consumers. The majority of meat consumers are often prodded to ingest vastly more than their bodies can handle thanks to cruel promotions like 25-cent wing nights and family-sized buckets of chicken. Help stop the brutality by visiting.
This is the Onion News Network.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's a live Sunday edition. You can call in, talk about whatever you want. We're talking about, well, child labor here, parental rights, CPS oversteps, all this stuff. Nosy people. Here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
And you can call anything about anything you want at 855-450-3733. Let's go to Bad Slave, who is on the Discord lines. By the way, you go to discord.freetalklive.com and you'll sound as good as Bad Slave. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yep. Yes. Sounds great.
Ah, good. It works well. This is my first working call. I had a failed book call in the past, but good, it's working. And wanted to talk back about the kidnapping issue, and it's really to me an issue of anonymousness or whatever of money. Money should be anonymous, and you know the idea that government should be able to track everything is a failure. Okay, we should be able to privately transact anything, and that includes payments for a kidnapping. Solution for kidnapping is effective self-defense. On site, in the pockets of the target or the responsible person.
Well, I might agree with you, Bad Slave, that people being armed might diminish the amount of kidnappings. What I would say is that it's also difficult. Hold on just a second. I'm getting some feedback
we're getting
here.
some feedback. So I'm not sure, Bad Slave, if you've got headphones that you can use. Because if you're on the Discord,
you can't respond.
Right, but I'm just explaining, for him and others, if you're on the Discord and
on your laptop, you're
on a computer and you don't have headphones, there's going to be feedback.
On your phone, that won't happen. On a laptop, that will.
Yes.
Okay.
On the phone, it might if you're using speaker.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, don't use speaker.
There are some people who
speakerphone is for waiting while you're on hold to talk to. I'm just talking to America. All right, America. Speakerphones are for when you're on hold, waiting for the person who's going to talk to you. Then you pick up the phone and you push the button and you talk into the. Now, if you've got a headset, that's fine.
Right.
But speaker is not for talkie.
There are some people who have phones that need to be repaired where the only way that the phone function works is on speaker.
That's unusual, though.
You're right, Darryl. There is some percentage of the population where this is true, and that percentage is probably starts with a point something. So, anyway, there you go. Where were we at on this?
We were talking about kidnapping.
Oh, yes, kidnapping. What I would say is, and I'll get right back here to Bad Slave. I think that guns will probably diminish. Like, people carrying guns would probably diminish the amount of kidnappings because kidnappers would see the life or death situation they'd be going into. However, having a gun does not mean that bad things aren't going to happen to you. It just means that people are going to have to be more careful when they do it. Bad Slave?
That's true. And my feedback is that, in fact, there is no perfect protection for anything.
It's the truth.
I mean, it's like if we can do the best that we can do with our firearms and our training and carrying them with them, each other, and fending off bad people. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, is fending off people who are interested in harming us. And the only way that we can do that is by being armed. And the idea that the progressives out there are so happy to install into us that, we can do it without firearms is just foolhardy.
I can't imagine how anyone thinks you're going to do this without firearms. The only thing that people suggest is that instead of carrying a firearm, you call a guy with a firearm.
Well, exactly. And if you have to call someone, they're not there when you need them, are they?
Nope.
So basically, it's terrible. Not only that, the idea of anonymous cash is critical to people just doing business. There is no way that the government can keep track of everything and it not bite us in the butt. Most of the interaction that governments want to.
Ooh, lost you.
Lost Bad Slave there, but I think he's right on that. Appreciate the call, Bad Slave. That in many cases you need that anonymous transactions probably should be the default. However, I'll say this: there are times when I choose to use my credit card because I want to be able to charge back whatever it is that potentially something. I want insurance,
right?
Something doesn't work out the way I expect it to work out. I'm paying before I get the product. Whatever it is. Sometimes I want to use a credit card. I think what we need to have are options in currency, and that sometimes using cryptocurrency makes a lot of sense, and sometimes it's probably not the best choice. But there's what I would say about cryptocurrency is there's nothing you can do about it. You can't wave your magic wand and say, Bitcoin, be gone, and it goes away. Somebody, the idea of
Well, the government may try to do that.
They could. I don't know how successful they'll be. They haven't been able to shut down things like Silk Road on the dark web, so I'm going to presume that they're going to fail at much else. But if the only use case for Bitcoin is international money transfers and dark web activity,
that's what it'll be used for?
It'll be highly, highly valuable. And it's used for significantly more than that today.
Yes.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if it was that, it'd still be worth something like $100,000 of Bitcoin.
In regard to transactions being traceable, and I would love it if we could choose whether my transaction right now can be traced or not. I totally agree, because it's not just about governments tracing it, and I've mentioned this in previous broadcasts. It's also the businesses that I don't always want them deciding what I can and cannot spend my money on. We're seeing that right now with PayPal and with Patreon, etc., is that the businesses are deciding what we are allowed to spend our money on and not, and they're making moral decisions about how we're spending our money. It's not some strange sci-fi story where the corporations are deciding what we can and cannot do. This is actually happening right now.
Yep.
And it is cause for concern, and it's actually not government involvement. that we know of.
Well, let me think. So, in many times when we're talking about person-to-person activities, banks try to get involved too. Like, I just guessing here. It's been a long time since I've been in a strip club, but I'm guessing that strip clubs aren't allowed to take credit cards at least for anything but drinks.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I've only ever been to 2 strip clubs. One of them was in Mexico, and the other one was in South Carolina. The only reason I went to the one in South Carolina is because my lesbian roommate wanted to take her girlfriend, and in South Carolina, women must have a male companion to enter a strip club.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I would also say that there's, intimate massage studios and a variety of things out there that I'm guessing certain head shops probably can't sell, say, synthetic marijuana. These are some guesses. I know marijuana businesses are having a heck of a time doing business with banks at all, and have to do cash. And there's actually these Lynx trucks showing up with armed guards picking up cash from marijuana businesses, and they have to do things the old way because there's no way for people to do bank transactions.
Because the banks won't allow it even though it's legal?
Because it's still federally illegal. There are a handful of
conflict of laws.
Right. Well, there's the conflicting laws, but there are a handful of the cannabis shops that have found local banks willing to do business with them. But you're not going to get Bank of America or any of the big national banks to do business with any of these cannabis companies, because it's still federally illegal. And there's a federal law that applies to stuff that if you assist somebody in doing something federally illegal, then we might charge you with money laundering.
Right.
So, yes, you're absolutely right that private companies, banks, honestly, banks, the government, they're almost the same thing, though, Laurel. I mean, I'd say that the government's licensed the banks into existence, but honestly, it's the banks that empower the government. And at least this is back and forth sort of fascistic relationship between the two, and it's frightening. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Find us online at snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending January 11th, 2019. Gold opened Friday at $1,292, silver opened at $15.66, and Bitcoin was trading around $3,640 as of Friday evening. The prices are brought to you by CMM Digital, supplying cinematic video production. When quality is your highest priority, CMM Digital delivers. Visit them today at cmmdigital.space. In the news, the United States Border Patrol and the TSA claim they need to secretly spy on everyone's social media accounts so they can understand a person's relationship with their friends, family, and the government. According to a report from activistpost.com, the DHS report, published last month, said that nothing can stop the Border Patrol or the TSA from secretly spying on everyone's social media accounts. The report reads that, quote, in order to conduct a complete investigation, it's necessary for the DHS, CBP, to collect and review large amounts of data in order to identify and understand relationships between individuals, entities, threats, and events, and to monitor patterns of activity over extended periods of time that may be indicative of criminal, terrorist, or other threats, end quote. Activist Post reports that understanding a person's relationship with entities is a euphemism for the government. The news site reports that feds want to know if you are anti-government, an activist, or a protester. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And Liberty Beat listeners, we have a special deal for you. Just use promo code SNLS to receive 10% off your purchase. The news now continues. President Donald Trump's pick to be Attorney General will assure lawmakers he supports a recent criminal justice overhaul that eases federal sentencing rules, even though he pushed tough-on-crime policies for decades, a person close to the confirmation process told the Associated Press. William Barr is likely to face questions during his confirmation hearing Tuesday about his rhetoric during and after his first stint as Attorney General in the early 1990s. At that time, Barr argued that the government needed to build more prisons, make penalties more severe and swift, and use laws to keep criminals behind bars longer. That would put him squarely at odds with today's reformers. Fast forward to next week's hearing, and Barr will tell the Senate Judiciary Committee that he supports the recently passed First Step Act, according to the person who spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity to discuss private conversations. Trump has touted the law as a bipartisan effort to address concerns that too many Americans were imprisoned for nonviolent crimes as a result of the drug war. Barr's tough-on-crime thinking was common among law enforcement officials in the early 1990s, but the view in many in the criminal justice field has shifted toward rehabilitation instead of incarceration. U.S. officials say the Pentagon is finalizing plans that would send hundreds of additional active-duty troops to the United States-Mexico border for several more months to support the Department of Homeland Security and install another 160 miles of concertina wire in Arizona and California. Details are being worked out, but the plan would extend the military's border mission through the end of September. The mission is separate from President Donald Trump's campaign to build a border wall, but is designed to bolster security. Officials Friday told the Associated Press the installation of the wire barrier is not expected to take that long, so troops doing that would be finished long before September. There currently are 2,350 active-duty troops assigned to the border mission, which was slated to end January 31st. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? It's simple. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details on how to raise your profile in partnership with the Liberty Beat. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat can be found online at snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you to spread liberty with a smile.
The FAA has issued a reminder that any plane can crash and kill you. Deputy FAA Administrator Serena Grant.
This year, there will be more flights than ever. Any one of them could blow up in the middle of the sky without warning. That's why we're asking all Americans to tell their families that they love them before taking off.
The agency also released a list of important questions to ask yourself or your seatmate during your flight, including, should the wing be doing that? What is that whirring noise? And do all planes shake this much? They're reminding passengers that even the smallest amount of turbulence could mean you're headed toward a sudden explosive death. While hurtling through the sky at unimaginable speeds in a steel coffin can feel like gambling with your life, the FAA says there are ways to regain the illusion of control.
If you're worried about crashing, why not switch your flight at the last second? It might just save your life. Or kill you, depending on which plane crashes.
And for those who aren't flying this holiday, the FAA has reminded everyone that a plane could fall out of the sky right on top of you at any moment.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind here. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
But how do you know it's David?
Well, I can tell by your voice.
Damn it. Got me again. No, the screener dude was doing extra screening questions because of your crank calls. So.
Yeah, we've had dullards calling in tonight going on the radio, so sometimes we do.
Well, guess what? You
extra.
Still do.
What's on your mind, David?
Well, all kinds of things, but if I answer that question, then you would hang up on me because it would be more than one thought. So I refuse to answer that question.
All right.
You were talking about stuff relating to parenting, and you must have known that I was going to call on something else, and so you started that topic to distract me from what I was going to call about. Some interesting thing. Oh, first of all, and it ties into you were asking. You saw a picture of a dude's house in Norway, a millionaire dude, and it didn't. Actually, that's kind of funny too. If you look at the news, it says on one news feed it says millionaire, and another news feed it says billionaire, and then back to millionaire. So.
And a tycoon. This one I'm looking at New York Times calls him a tycoon. I would call this a split plan ranch. I mean, this is a pretty modest house, two-car garage.
Right. There are some very wealthy people that live very modestly. That's how they're able to be very wealthy.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, especially in Norway. And he's note that he's in Norway, so he's definitely
he's
a tycoon, not a tycoon without the TY because it's Norway. In Norway, people are rather modest, and so just because they have money, they don't spend it to show that they have money, because that's and believe it or not, that's how I was raised. I'm half Scandinavian, Norwegian, raised from, and that's the side I was raised by, with a little bit of German thrown in, and the other half was absent. And I can tell you that Scandinavians are not showy, pretentious people. Until they get to America, and then they adopt American standards, and they might start to show off a little bit. But in Norway, they don't do that, and so that would explain or answer the question that you posed on air. But tying into your parent thing, first of all, one thing I noticed is that there was a Barbara Greenberg, and you reported her as Greenberger at one point, but she is Greenberg.
Okay.
And then you discussed a Jonathan Haidt, Haidt.
It is Jonathan. It is Barbara Greenberg. You're right.
Right, and they're interested in having a say about other people and controlling other people in this society, right?
I don't know that Jonathan Haidt is about controlling other people. He's about explaining their behavior.
And in the case of Barbara Greenberg, she said that anytime a child is hurt physically or emotionally, in her opinion, it's abuse.
Yeah, okay. And I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Please repeat what you said about Haidt.
I don't think he's about controlling other people's behavior. I think he's about explaining it.
Okay, he's about explaining it. But in both cases, they're interested in having a say in a public, in the media, very prominent In fact, Haidt, I believe, is a professor. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And the other one is a doctor, a PhD, the Greenberg one. And they want to have a say. They want to have a very public say in the media, on the news, about how other people should live their lives or explain other people's lives. And they both happen to come from a common background. They both happen to be Jewish, I believe.
Perhaps.
Right.
I don't know.
Perhaps. No, I researched it. They are.
All right.
It's a common thing. And before anybody nails me for anti-Semitism, I'm a Holocaust survivor in the form that my father was a toddler in 1939 Germany when his father managed to get my grandmother and the two youngest children of the family out of the country, seeing the writing on the wall, and shipped them to South America, saving their lives. Okay,
so you're part Jewish?
Wants to go down the Pardon?
So you're part Jewish is your claim?
Oh, well, only by genetics, because I'm not a religious Jew, and my mother is not Jewish. And I have not, I already said that, I'm not a religious Jew, meaning I haven't converted to Judaism.
So what's your claim? Is that
I just wanted to,
some Jews are nosy?
Well, if you look, the population of, and this is in the context, I noticed
what would be the point?
In the last decade.
Look, I guess whether it's a yes or no question is like, so I guess what would be the point if this were true, right? If some Jews are nosy.
The point is what you were talking about. You're talking about our invasive, nosy government in your own words, both of you.
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm looking at who the hell is our government, and when I look in there at percentages, if the population of Jews in America is 2%, approximately what it is.
Okay.
However, in our government and in our controlling industries, like these various therapists, lawyers, doctors, and all of that, they're what are they? 20%, 30%?
I don't know whether. I mean, a lawyer or a doctor is giving their opinion, and we're allowed to say things about it. So Barbara Greenberg is a family psychologist. She's not a politician. So politicians, I don't think are terribly you'll find Jews terribly overrepresented.
If you go to the legislature, there are all kinds of non-politician that testify up there, that lobby up there.
Then why don't they become politicians?
NGOs. Pardon?
Then why don't they become politicians?
In some cases, it would be a pay cut.
Just like Eddie Aragon, the guy who owns the radio station Kiva here in Albuquerque, said on air, he has more power owning a radio station than he does as a politician. And these doctors and lawyers and all that, they find that they have more power and they make more money as a not politician, going up and influencing the politicians and getting paid for influencing the politicians by either being media personalities and selling advertising, or by getting paid directly.
So do you think that it's a problem that Jews are overrepresented in these professions?
It is most definitely a problem.
Why?
Because they're nosy. Pardon?
Well, go on.
For exactly the reason that you said, because our government is nosy. They're getting their noses where it doesn't belong. In the case of the father who happened to have his baby laying on his chest.
Wait. So if I find a Jew, can I presume they're nosy?
You can do whatever you want.
I don't want to
make other people do. I, David Olson, presume that they are nosy because I see it every day. And beyond nosy, they go and get these so-called professional licenses. They go to universities.
Well, they want to have a better life for themselves. There's no doubt that at the very least in this country, Ashkenazi Jews definitely tend to percolate up to
How many professional licenses do you have, Mark?
None. 0. I'm just barely Ashkenazi, though. But I am a talk show host, and I do have some influence. However, it's a thing among Jews, to be a doctor, or be a lawyer, or be those kind of things.
Right.
I don't think that means.
That's fine. That's fine. But what they do is they take that and then they try to control other people's lives using the degree and the license that they went out and got.
No more
Most
than
people
anybody
try
else
to
in those
control
professions.
other people.
Yeah.
I think psychologists probably do that.
Yeah.
And doctors probably do that. I mean, doctors don't want you to smoke. Psychologists all have their theory on how you can live a better life and be happier and all that stuff.
I see the police at the legislative hearings all the time.
Not a lot of Jews in the police department, right?
Yeah, really? one thing that's
those
interesting.
damn Irishmen.
It doesn't pay enough. It doesn't have enough. A cop is not prestigious enough to be a valid Jewish profession.
Thank you for the call, David.
But one thing that's interesting is you see the heads of the police unions, you see the head of the Police Chiefs Association going in lobbying for all of these laws, and then cops turn around and say, we don't make the laws, we just enforce them. But your spokesmen go in and lobby for all of these extra laws. So yes, you are making the laws.
Yeah, when I go to the New Hampshire State House, and that's where I've spent most of my time participating in the legal process, I do not see a whole bunch of Jews there. I see just ordinary folks of all different walks of life, being legislators and those kind of things. Now, that's unusual. It tends to be a lot of lawyers in the legislature, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen any evidence that Jews tend to be more represented as politicians.
We've got a lot of retired people and college students.
855-450-3733.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding.
Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
You are free to call in and talk live here on the radio tonight. I want to tell you about SaveItPurse.com. SaveItPurse.com is a website that allows you to save between 5 and 30% on anything that you buy at Amazon. It's an interface between, the catch is you've got to have cryptocurrency to do it, but that's a big savings. If you want to save some money, SaveItPurse.com is a great way to do it. First thing you do, go over there, create an account at SaveItPurse.com, then get yourself some cryptocurrency. They sell it there, or you can go to Bitcoin.com, get some crypto wherever you want to do it. And then buy the things you want to buy at a discount at SaveEtPurse.com. Let's go to Brian, calling in from Wisconsin. Brian, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All's well. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to ask you guys what you thought about borders, open borders. You kind of want people to be able to travel back and forth between, different countries and stuff, be a little bit more free that way, right?
Yeah, free people can cross the borders of free countries freely, or you don't have free people and you don't have free countries.
See, I was thinking about that, and it kind of got me thinking about how you felt about maybe the police, and if you think that they should be able to go back and forth between borders too, like, cross jurisdiction stuff.
Oh, that's interesting. Should the police be able to chase somebody into Mexico or Canada if you're in hot pursuit?
Well, they can chase in hot pursuit across county lines, that's for sure, city lines and things like that. So,
we don't have immigration in between county lines, et cetera. This would be international lines.
When police cross international borders, they then become an invading force.
Mm-hmm.
When you have armed people, in uniform crossing borders, you've got an invading force. Should they be able to? I don't know, but they do.
I don't know that they do.
Oh, you're saying the police don't. I'm saying armed people in uniforms do.
Okay.
Brian?
I mean, you can say anybody who's armed.
So, like a person who's moving to the United States who brings their gun with them from Mexico is an invading force?
Depends on what their intentions are.
Well, their intention, in all likelihood, is to get a job and work hard. The evidence.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's just kind of a thought that popped in my head. I was just if
police get their power
by believing in open borders. If you believe all, not just people, normal people, but also other things.
I think people have a right to travel. Police get their power. Police are people, so police have the right to travel as people. But as police, they do not. The policing is done in a given jurisdictional area, and your power comes from that jurisdiction. So, sure, a person who's a police officer should be able to cross the border into Mexico. As far as I'm concerned, he should be able to carry his gun because free people should be able to be armed. That's evidence of people. I don't think they should have any more right to be armed than anyone else, but they should have the right to be armed. Everybody should have the right to be armed when they travel, and then, once they get to Mexico, they have the right to act like anybody else. But if they start to arrest people and things like that, they are simply a brigand.
So you think that Mexican nationals should be able to enter the United States with firearms if they choose?
Yes.
And you think Americans should be able to enter Mexico with firearms if they choose.
I suspect they did that for more than 100 years.
And Canada, people should be able to go to Canada with guns.
Canadians should be able to own guns.
So these are just natural conclusions from the whole open borders theory.
These are theories that come from the belief that you own yourself. So a person owns themselves, they're able to protect them. Thus, they're able to protect themselves. They're able to build tools. They are therefore able to build tools to protect themselves. That means they should be able to exchange with other people. So they should be able to exchange tools that protect themselves, and they should be able to travel as long as they're not like tramping on your rose bushes or something, right? Like they shouldn't be able to wear a groove through your yard or anything like that. But
do you think people should be able to use drugs if they choose?
Yeah, they own their bodies.
So do you think they should be able to travel internationally with guns and drugs if they choose?
They should be. Well, the reason that they do travel internationally, they currently do travel internationally with guns and drugs, is because the police have made it illegal to travel internationally with guns and drugs. So now we have to have guns and drugs in many cases. So now we have to have armed people bringing the drugs to the American populace, which wishes to consume them. And whereas if they were able to...
we do thank the CIA for their service on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that CIA for flying all that good stuff in.
But you think all of these things are like rights that are right now being abridged. Like that basically people have the right, which is being infringed upon right now, but they have the right to travel internationally with drugs and guns as they choose any country in the world.
I mean, I can imagine why an airline wouldn't want to take you. So, but I mean, maybe a bus company wouldn't want to take you. Maybe you got to walk from Florida to Mexico with your AK-47 slung over your shoulder and your bag of heroin in your pocket. And you're probably going to get robbed at some point. Maybe you'll be able to handle it with the AK. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, as a human right, that right exists. I don't see how anyone could argue that it doesn't exist. Is it a good idea for us to allow that human right? Well, that's something that we could, discuss. But I don't say that I would not have the right to stop somebody from doing that. I mean,
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Brian, anything else?
Nope.
Thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. All right. I don't know whether respecting everybody's rights is a good idea, but those are the rights.
I think that if we shouldn't be respecting the right, then it's not a right. The rights are the things that we should respect.
Then then I guess I'm going to have to respect them, because I don't see how...
I think it's not a right.
You don't think it's a right to have a gun?
I don't think it's a right to travel internationally quite as
What the hell
freely.
is international travel? The international line is where two armies stop fighting. And that's true when it comes to the Mexican and the United States
I don't think
border.
it's a right. I think that we allow it because it's a good idea, but I don't think it's a right.
There's no such thing as a government, right? It's just a bunch of people claiming to rule you. So if a bunch of people claiming to rule you...
There's no such thing as a government.
It's not. I mean, it's just a bunch of people, right? And those people have no more rights than you do. And if you have the right to carry a gun, they don't have the right to tell you you don't. So that means the United States government doesn't have the right to tell you that you can't carry a gun all the way up to the border, and that means the Mexican government doesn't have the right to tell you you can't carry a gun there either. Why should the Mexican government tell you can't come in?
Because it's their country.
How did it get to be theirs?
See, so here's the problem that we're having. Mark is talking from a philosophical perspective, and you're talking from a legal perspective of this is what exists currently. There are people that say that they are, federales that will enforce fill-in-the-blank law.
Not so much
and Mark
legal.
is saying, here's how it should be.
Not so much legal as pragmatic.
Well,
I think that countries exist and they have sovereignty and they have the right to control their borders.
Well, the sovereignty they only got from kings. Do you think kings had the right to exist? They just killed themselves to the way to the top.
I think the people have a sovereignty.
The people aren't standing at the border trying to stop me from coming in. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Thanks.
A doctor's office visit for erectile dysfunction on my smartphone? That's crazy.
No, that's the bestedpill.com. ED can affect 40% of men by age 40. Now there's a 95% less expensive option than Viagra. After a live confidential video consult with a fully licensed doctor, we ship medicines fast, free, and direct in discreet packaging. Read thousands of 5-star reviews. Click thebestedpill.com. That's THE bestedpill.com, the online doctor's office.
At WolfHillAmmo.com, we love shotguns. We offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market, including our defensive combo packs for home and retreat. Our less lethal combo is good for animal control, the 4-legged kind and 2-legged. When lethal force is necessary, reach for our Stop 'em, Drop 'em, or our home defense combos. These 5-round packs include different heavy hitters to protect your loved ones. Visit WolfHillAmmo.com to see our great prices on these combo packs and other specialty shotgun ammo rounds. WolfHillAmmo.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Live Sunday edition, and you can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
And we finished to some extent talking about several incidences of CPS getting involved in a variety of different ways, and the government interfering in your parenting and those sorts of things. And you're welcome to call in on that topic, and frankly, any other, because that's what we do here on Free Talk Live. But yeah, let's go to the phones. Here we got It's Brian calling in from California. Brian, you're on Free Talk Live. Brian, can you hear me?
You might have to unmute the thing that says phone on the board.
Yep, okay.
And now let's try it.
There we are.
There we go.
I don't think from my end, because I have it muted. I'm watching you on YouTube.
We
and
got
I
you.
do have it muted.
Okay.
Okay, we're good now? Okay. Yes, I did want to talk about when to call in CPS. And from my youth rights angle, I assure you, we in the youth rights movement are not any bigger fans of Child Protective Services than you guys at Free Talk Live would be. However, from that youth rights perspective, I'm concerned that you guys might be holding a double standard of a kind, whether or not you're conscious of it. What would you say that about any possible double standard about whether or not to call the cops when a parent hits a child, or whether or not to call the cops when a husband hits a wife? Are you concerned about any double standard on your part there?
Well, it doesn't always have to be a husband hitting a wife. Oftentimes, it's wives hitting husbands. I can't tell you. Like
okay.
I can tell you that.
Okay, yes, you got me there.
I wouldn't appreciate if there's never been an instance where I hit my wife. And there's never been an instance where my wife hit me of any consequence, right? Like there's been slaps on the shoulder, stop doing that, and I just tell her, look, that's just just don't do that.
Okay.
Because that's normal. That's how normal people interact. But I just don't think it should should be done. So I don't think that you probably, if you're going to call the cops, be prepared for the relationship to be over. Is what I'm saying. If somebody hits somebody else,
I do take your general point that as a general rule, it's often, I take your point. It's very often unintended consequences when you bring in armed agents of the state.
I don't know if it's unintended. Like that's what I'm trying to tell people is if you call the cops, expect the relationship to be over. Because
some of the unintended consequences are they show up at the wrong house, they throw a flashbang at a baby's crib, and they shoot somebody's dog.
That wasn't CPS, but yeah, it can happen.
In regard to your question, is there a double standard? Well, I don't think husbands and wives should be disciplining each other. I don't think that's something that's needed.
Unless they voluntarily agreed to that.
Unless they agreed to that.
Since you're using the word discipline, I want to apply two different issues with issues of human psychology and cognitive dissonance, where people rationalize spanking as discipline. One is the old. It's an old saw, but it's very true. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yep.
And that could be just as true for a parent-child relationship as for any other human relationship to rationalize.
Okay, a parent-child relationship is an unequal power relationship, and it should be.
No, I think that's ageist of you to say that.
You don't think that parents should have power over their children? It should be an equal relationship. If the child doesn't want to go to bed yet, they should be allowed to. If they want to have another couple of donuts, they should be allowed to.
I just think, long story short, I think I've read Escape from Childhood by John Holt, a very neglected but very important book from 1974, and it makes a strong case for equal rights for the young as well as adults. And I want to mention the other of the two, human psychology issues is Stockholm syndrome.
Before you go on with Stockholm syndrome, let me explain what the libertarian stance on child rearing is. So, had to think about this for a while. First off, I created a person in an incompetent situation, right? So if I were to get into an automobile accident with somebody, knock their spine out of whack and they can't walk or whatever, I'm responsible to care for them until they can be, put back whole in whatever way. Now, I may have insurance to help me pay for that, a variety of other things. But when it comes to, having a child, I've created an incompetent human being, and I'm responsible for creating a competent human being out of them. So I have a responsibility to that human being. Hold on. I'm just explaining the libertarian stance here. And
some libertarians. I'm libertarian too.
Good.
So at some libertarian stance you're giving me.
I think I'm going to do a better. I think I'm going to do a pretty good job. Now, what I'm going to say is that this is my house. I own it. If you want to do whatever you want to do, my son or daughter wants to do whatever they want to do, that's fine. They can't do it necessarily in my house on my property without my permission. So,
well, John Holt has an interesting answer to that. What you just said, if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Okay, one of John Holt's proposals in that wonderful book, Escape from Childhood, is that if a child doesn't like the rules set up by his biological parents or legal guardians, that child can choose a different set of if they're not old enough to afford their own living space, they can choose a different set of caretakers in a different home. I mean, by mutual agreement with the owners of that other home.
It sounds like child sex trafficking. That's what it sounds like. I mean, I'm sorry. There's going to be advertisements on being played during cartoons that says, "Don't like your parents? Come on over to here," and then they take them away like
that's the moral panic.
That's a moral panic.
That is part of the moral panic that makes people just ridiculously overprotective of children. That you right away get to the sensationalistic.
Well, the problem is that children aren't competent to make their own decisions the way an adult is.
Right.
It's a debatable point how competent or incompetent.
A 2-year-old is incompetent. I don't think that's debatable. I don't think anybody's arguing that a 2-year-old can go get in a car and get in a job and make their own decisions about where they want to go and what they want to do.
And I can tell you this is that we're a pretty welcoming household, and we'll help people that need help, and that includes kids that need help, and we've demonstrated that on more than one occasion. But what I can tell you is I have no interest in a 3-year-old who doesn't want to go to bed on time relocating to my house because they think that they're somehow abused at their house. What that sounds like is a petulant child who wants what they want, and I have no interest in that crap.
Mutual agreement. Well,
right.
That's totally because, again, we're both libertarians. We both acknowledge your property rights. If it's not by mutual agreement that child would rather move in with you, that'll be, of course,
how's a kid
not going to happen by mutual agreement between you and the kid.
How's a kid who, in my case, my kid was rarely sent to a nursery school, has never been sent to a government school. How's that kid going to get his message across to a potential group of new parents? I mean, you can't use Facebook. They limit you to 16 years old. How are they going to get that information out to these parents that are going to save them from these terrible rules like a bedtime?
Well, of course, obviously, it's one of those things. It's like how does any message get out for any mutually agreeable?
But it's not like every other situation. We're talking about children, and they are qualitatively different from adults.
Yeah, they really don't understand consequences.
Don't run away and go to grandma's house.
The evidence is they don't understand consequences, and the evidence is brain development doesn't finish until 25.
But, for that, I need you to read Robert Epstein's The Myth of the Teen Brain. It's a brilliant Scientific American article. Robert Epstein totally exposes the politically motivated pseudoscience between the nonsense.
The whole story that we did was about a 7-year-old, not a teenager.
Well, even so, I can tell you, as a teenager, I was dumb. I mean, just mouth-breathing dullard.
That's your Stockholm Syndrome. That's your Stockholm Syndrome.
Thank you for the call, Brian. Appreciate it. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. convictions. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
How well and how fast does Heart and Body Extract work to improve blood circulation? Listen.
My name is Ellis, and I am 66 years old, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed as having clogged arteries. I had 70% blockage in one artery leading to my heart. They wanted me to go on Plavix, but I refused, knowing the negative side effects.
Heart and Body Extract is a unique balance, synergy, and proportion of herbs reaching from head to toe at maximum absorption around 95% at the cellular level.
Within the first month, I felt a dramatic difference. The heaviness in my legs was reduced, and within 2 months, I felt completely normal.
Your natural organic herbal formula for heart health is Heart and Body Extract. Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract. Call 866-295-5305, 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Final segment of this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's possible I could get you on, so you can go to Discord at discord.freetalklive.com, get the app and call in that way, or you can use the regular phone lines. The number is 855-450-3733. Last caller was talking about children's rights, and he's obviously well-read. No way you could doubt that guy knows his topic. I wonder whether he's ever had children. But nonetheless, the guy knows his topic. It's Mark with you.
I'm Laurel.
And Darryl.
If you want to know what I think about pillows, I think a pillow is the first place you ought to go. If you're having trouble sleeping, you get headaches during the day, you've got back issues, I think the first thing that you should do to solve that problem is get a new pillow. Mattresses are expensive. Not to say a mattress can't solve your problem. and might not be the issue, but the first thing you should do is get a good pillow, because if your pillow isn't holding your head and your neck parallel to the ground, like if your head's cranked up one way because the pillow's too fluffy, or cranked down the other way because it's it's one of those darn down pillows where it just throughout the night you sink your head down, then you need to get another pillow that'll hold your head and neck straight. My Pillow's great for this, but there's many pillows that'll be great for this. What My Pillow's awesome, unique selling proposition, I think, is that besides holding your head and neck in the proper position, you can wash it. God knows what vile and disgusting things are living in your bedclothes and sheets and these sorts of things. My Pillow, wash it, all that stuff's gone, and you got a 60-day money-back guarantee. You've got nothing to lose. You go to mypillow.com, get 2 My Pillow premium pillows for one low price, and you get free shipping on all orders when you use promo code FTL. If you don't like your My Pillow, you have 60 days to return it for a full refund of your purchase price. MyPillow.com, promo code FTL. Let's go to Kyle, calling in from Illinois. Kyle, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I was just calling in kind of a personal point of view from the gentleman who responded or was talking about the children's rights.
Yes, he was.
I'm a younger, quote unquote younger. I'm 22. I was raised by parents who are born in the 50s, and I mean I was spanked as a kid, and I've always had the utmost respect for my parents. I've never really, wanted to go against them and go to a different house.
But you never thought about running away or anything like that?
No.
More than one time walking down the driveway with what I considered to be the important things that I had, ready to strike out on my own. God knows what I thought I was going to do, where I thought I was going to go, but I was going to go. So, do you think that young people have the capacity to, operate as adults? I'm talking about teenagers here. Let's say a 15-year-old. Do you think a 15-year-old could fend for themselves if they had the legal capability of doing so?
I think 15 is kind of pushing it. I think 16 is kind of the cutoff.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you feel comfortable sending a 16-year-old to go fly to another country for maybe a summer program? You put them on a plane, they're going to go to another country, and they're going to go through immigration on their own. They're going to catch a bus in another country, and they're going to find their way to their summer program. Do you think a 16-year-old could do that?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going based off
some 16-year-olds could. I think some 30-year-olds could. There are some 50-year-olds that could not. So, drawing a line of what age someone can travel internationally on their own, there's no way to actually do it where you cover 100% of people in that age group.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. But I think that most 16-year-olds are going to have more trouble with that than someone who's older. I would be very hesitant to send a 16-year-old to go do that on their own.
I wouldn't send a 16-year-old to negotiate their employment contract. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't expect them to do as well as I do at 47. Why? I've negotiated more than one employment contract, and experience counts.
Well, I think
acumen counts.
I think one of the things that's supposed to happen in your teenage years, and maybe even in your early 20s, is it's supposed to be a transition period where your parents are training you to do these things, and they do these things with you. So it's not so much that you don't have the capacity to do these types of things, but you don't have the experience, and it's sort of like an apprenticeship period before you become an adult, is your parents are doing these things with you.
So now we're talking about how things should be, not how things actually are, because I don't know how many parents are actually teaching children
they probably don't
how
know.
To live on their own.
I don't think they know in half the cases. Thanks for the call, Kyle. Appreciate it.
I disagree, though. I think the parents are helping them. They're certainly teaching them how to drive, and then the first time you go get an apartment, quite often you'll take your parents with you. The first time you go buy a car, you take your parents with you. I think most people do. I think some people don't, but most people do. Yeah, the first time they do those sorts of things, their parents assist them with it.
I would hope my son would ask me to come along and help with those things that you're talking about right there. If he didn't, I wouldn't expect him to do as well. Here's what I believe separates the teenage mind from, say, mine. I'm 47 years old. I've been thinking for the last decade about things like retirement, the consequences of my actions in the long term, how to make good decisions that are going to have the best results in the long run, not for what happens today, but for things that happen in a decade from now or 2 decades or even further, hopefully extending my life beyond the 80 years that probably I'm going to get to maybe 90 or 100 or 120, making the right dietary decisions. Like I'm drinking a Vitamix, like a gallon full of vegetables a day. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is because I think it's going to be better for my life in the long run. As a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old, man, I couldn't see past next week. I wanted the thing that I wanted now, and whether it was drugs or cars or girls or whatever, I just couldn't see beyond any farther. My dad sat down with me and told me that if you put, I think it was $100, and I think it was every week, away in a bank account that got this amount of interest, that you would be a millionaire by this date, right? Pardon me if I don't have my math exactly right. I mean, this was done for me a long time ago, but I did show my son something relatively recently. Look, this is what would happen if you put this amount of money away. And we started saving the money that he was earning and putting half away, and then half he got to spend on whatever he wanted to. And he's learning that. Hopefully, I'm teaching him to think longer term so that when the teenage years come, he'll be better prepared for it. But in my experience, I did not have the mind to make decisions like, let's negotiate this employment contract. Let's make this decision that's going to, for God's sakes, college loans. These things, we're strapping kids with 6-figure debt that they're going to be under for the rest of their lives. You think that they're capable of making that decision? I do not. And I hope, in a perfect world, parents are helping their kids make good decisions. In an imperfect world, you've got kids making their own decisions. Because at that point, at 18 years old, I don't think the 18-year-old mind is that much better than the 16-year-old mind, to my mind. So, yes, they have to deal with the consequences of their actions.
We do hold minors to a different standard, different standard of responsibility with some exceptions. And there is a reason for that. And part of it might be inexperience, and part of it might be immaturity, or a combination of the two. We have come up with an arbitrary bright line rule for this is when the rules change. And I agree it's arbitrary, but we had to come up with a bright line at some point. And the bright line is age 18.
For most things, and then there's other things where it's 21, and then other things where it's 26, and it's all completely arbitrary when you actually become a legal adult in this country.
That's because we can't do the test individually because everybody matures at different rates.
No. You want to sign up for the military and go overseas and kill foreign people that you've never met? Go ahead, do that at 18. But you want to have a beer afterwards? You've got to wait 3 years.
I agree with you on that one.
Oh, you want to get your own insurance? Well, no, you're on your parents' insurance for another 8 years.
Right. You can choose to have sex in many states at 16, therefore, and that presumably...
some states 14.
Pregnancy goes along with that. I thought that had all been changed at this point, Darryl, but let's go with 16.
Pregnancy didn't go with it?
Alabama, it's 14 as long as the other party is not more than 2 years different.
Oh, yes. Right. That's true. So in some states, you can choose to have sex as low as 14, depending on who you choose to have it with. And obviously pregnancy, there's a lifelong decision there.
Yeah.
In many cases, there's kids in prison for the rest of their lives for crimes that were committed at 12 and 13. So... yeah, we don't have an age of consent in this country. We've just got a bunch of arbitrary crap. It's supposed to be 18, but it's not. Yeah. Anyway, check us out at freetalklive.com.
We'll be back tomorrow because we're live every night of the week.
Free Talk Live.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work, especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in I'll take anything mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, January 13th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.60 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,288 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.3